Every student comes across a school year that is more challenging than others. For some, it's junior year, and for others, it's freshman. For me, it just so happened to be the 8th grade. Between juggling school, friends, and extracurricular activities, I was stressed out. The last thing that I needed was another rigorous math course. Luckily, I was surprised to find out that my math class only had 13 kids in it. This made it about half the size of what I was used to. Now, algebra is far from my strongest subject, but for some reason, I did reasonably well in this class, and as the year went on, I did better and better. So I started to think to myself, why am I doing well in this class? I'm not that good at math. Ultimately, I decided it was because of the small class size. In the United States, the average class size in a primary school is 23 students, and in a secondary school, it is 24 students. This can be quite problematic, especially in younger grades. Imagine 23 highly energetic, somewhat disobedient third graders all in one room with one teacher responsible for all of them. That's not very efficient. How can a teacher effectively control an environment like that while still teaching to the best of his or her ability? It's quite tricky to do, and oftentimes ends up in one big mess with a teacher who is not sure what to do and a whole slew of angry parents. Projects such as Tennessee Star and Wisconsin Sage have explored the effects of small class sizes over long periods of time. The results were astounding. According to these projects, students in smaller classes finished 2 months ahead in reading and finished roughly 7% higher on standardized reading and math tests. Quite simply, in younger grades, smaller class sizes allow for students to do much better. The reduction of class size could really boost education. According to Tennessee Project STAR, students in a reduced class size for at least 3 years were more likely to graduate. Furthermore, the gap between white and black students taking the ACT and SAT is close by 60%. Reduced classes will lead to more students graduating high school and then attending college. For a lot of reasons, many students are at a disadvantage in the terms of the quality of their education, but I believe that this can be made up for through smaller classes. Smaller class sizes is generally regarded as a benefit to students and teachers both. But John Hattie, one of the most respected researchers in all of education, disagrees with this. In his effect size index for student achievement, he ranks smaller classes as 147 out of 195. Although he may argue this, he also says that things such as the quality of feedback and student-teacher relationships play a large role in student achievement. Doesn't a reduced class size allow for things like this to play a larger role though? With less peers in a classroom, a student can build a stronger relationship with a teacher or spend more one-on-one time with that teacher. This year, I've been in a class with 28 students. I felt disconnected with my teacher. It is so much harder to enrich my education in such a large class. I almost feel scared to speak to a teacher that I don't know that well and in front of peers that I'm not very familiar with either. I've been left wondering, is my education being restricted in such a large class? Sure, I still do fairly well in this class, but I think that I could do so much better if the class size was cut in half. Although smaller classes may be the solution to weak relationships, poor depth of knowledge, and lack of student involvement, there is one main problem behind this education reform, and that is its cost. It would take billions of dollars to almost double our number of teachers and infrastructure. So it comes down to one thing. It's where our government and our schools put their money. It's our nation's budget that prevents us from reducing class sizes. But still, we need to find ways to fund this. Many believe that reducing class sizes is a very smart decision, but it is just way too expensive. But if it is so impossible, then why did the state of Washington just pass a bill requiring all K-12 classrooms to have under 18 students? Other states can follow Washington's measure and take one big step to better our education. This will especially help in states like my own. In terms of standardized test scores and graduation rates, Alabama is one of the lowest ranking in the whole entire country. These students, my neighbors, deserve a better education, and smaller class sizes will provide that for us. In the long run, it will be worth it. As studies show, Graduation rates improve when class size reduction is put into action. Let's help students across the country by lowering our class sizes so that they can do better in school, which we all know will set themselves up for success later in life. Class size restricts our education. Students simply can't grow to their full extent when they don't have a strong relationship with the teacher or with other peers in the classroom. When I was in that class of 13 students, learning became more accessible. But now that I'm crammed in with 28 other students, my classroom experience becomes degraded. It's smaller classes that will give kids an upper hand. And if you don't believe me, go ask any other student about this. I can confidently say that they will agree with me. If class sizes were smaller, you wouldn't just see the difference in the results of our test scores. You would see it on our whole outlook on education. Teachers will be talking to us, one-on-one, or maybe in small groups, but they will not be looking across a class of 30 faces they'll never come to know. Thank you.